Good afternoon, ladies and more ladies. And I think there's a couple of gentlemen in the room. So by show of hands, how many of you have children under 10? Okay, so a couple. A report by the World Economic Forum notes that 65% of children entering primary school in 2017 will have jobs that do not exist yet, and for which their education will fail to prepare them. So I have a son. He's turning 3 months today. So he's with his father. That's where gender parity matters. The father can also look after the child. So this is a challenge for me and for you to start thinking about our children's future and the kind of skills that they will need to excel in that future. And of course, coding is one of those fundamental skills, and you might be asking yourself why. What's the big fuss about coding? Data shows that avenues of opportunity open up and become more for the kids, in particular young girls who learn coding from an early childhood. In this digitized economy, teaching kids, and for us girls, the skills to navigate the digital landscape can have profound effects on the economy. And so coding is becoming an increasingly important skill to have in almost all sectors of the economy. Technology is solving things like how we access education, medical issues, and some of the biggest challenges that are fundamentally changing how we live our lives. So yesterday, Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe talked about how technology and science is changing the fashion industry, an industry that she's a part of. And so in terms of, from her point of view, in terms of creating material that can be utilized, that can utilize sunlight to charge your phone while you're walking. Well, it doesn't just stop there. For the 2016 Met Gala in New York City, high fashion design house Mich literally lit up the red carpet with a cognitive dress that applied color psychology to match emotions. So imagine walking into a room and your dress basically tells you the atmosphere in the room. If people are happy, it turns yellow. If people are angry, it turns black. So that's pretty amazing, right? So the resulting piece, as you can see here, created with Watson's cognitive color tool and worn by supermodel Carolina Kokova, had 150 connected LED flowers that lit up in different colors based on real-time sentiment within the room. So that's pretty amazing stuff. So again, what does this all mean? It means that on top of the gender gap, we really need to start talking about the skills gap. Because someone needs to be able to create all this technology that we're talking about. Someone needs to be able to write the code and algorithms that will change our future and create technology. According to a recent report from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, providing every child with access to education and skills needed to participate fully in society would boost GDP by an average of 28% per year in lower income countries and 16% per year in higher income countries. So as you know, in South Africa, it was just reported that we've had a negative GDP growth and our unemployment rate is higher than ever. And that's particularly due to the fact that a lot of people have degrees in degrees that are not necessarily relevant to the labor market. Every year, there's thousands of vacant tech positions that go unfilled. Companies want to hire top-notch, highly skilled information technology professionals, but they just can't find them. So I just want to share a quick story. Earlier this year, I was on LinkedIn, and I came across a post by this girl, Siphelele Dlamini. And she basically said she studied IT, but it's been 6 months and she can't find a job. So I'm like, wait, what? First of all, you're black, you're a female, you did IT, and you can't find a job. How can that be? So we recently partnered up with American Express UK, and we were hosting a hackathon, and from that hackathon, we were basically interviewing females for job opportunities in the UK. So I reached out to her and I said, listen, I don't know how you're applying, maybe to a CV, let me have a look, but come to the interviews that we're hosting, and let's see what happens. So from then on, she actually got the job. She'll be moving to the UK next month, working as a software developer. So for me, that's the power of knowing how to code and getting relevant skill sets. As much as unemployment is high in South Africa, I think it's also an opportunity to start thinking about how do we start reskilling people for skills that are needed. As Girl Code, our mission is simple: empower young girls through technology. And as the world transitions to an increasingly digital economy, closing the global gender gap and skills gap in technology is crucial in creating a future where women can participate economically and addressing the rising unemployment rate as a result of shortage of qualified individuals needed to meet the increasing demand of the ICT labor market. So in the past year, we took a decision to start preparing young primary and high school girls and also boys for future skills needed by forming GirlCodeZA clubs. So these GirlCodeZA clubs basically happen on weekends at the school where we start teaching them coding and robotic skills. So we recognized that in order for us to be competitive as a nation, we really need to think about how education, or what the kids are being educated in. I think it's also encouraging to see that the Department of Basic Education has started thinking about coding and robotics in schools, but like Lindiwe said earlier on, it's not enough to just say there's going to be coding and robotics in school. You need people that have the relevant skills to be able to teach those subjects. And already if we're failing at maths and English, that leaves a lot to be desired. So as an organization, we really pride ourselves in making sure that not only are we empowering young girls that are in the schools, but we're empowering teachers. So yesterday, some of our facilitators were actually at a school teaching teachers how to teach coding. So for us, this is also about sustainability, right? We can't always be at these schools. And we won't always be there. So it's important that we make sure that teachers are also stakeholders in what we're doing. And teachers also get excited about what's possible with coding. So far we have introduced coding and robotics to over 1,000 girls. And as you can see, these are some of the girls that have been part of our initiative, teaching them coding skills. And for us, it's not really just about getting future software developers. Of course, most children won't grow up to be skilled software developers, just as most people don't become professional authors, but reading and writing skills are useful for everyone. And so in the digital age, so will digital literacy and coding skills. It's more about teaching them logic and creativity. It is about equipping them to be able to communicate and compete as global citizens. So I encourage all of you here that are here today and have children that are under 10, who we now have to prepare them for jobs that do not even exist, to start thinking about giving them skills such as coding, being part of GirlCodeZA clubs, making sure, and boy clubs, making sure that you're helping them get the relevant skills so that you're not sitting with an even higher unemployment rate. And I'm very proud that as an organization, we've helped over 800 female developers that are studying in varsity to also link them up to opportunities within corporates, because we've always heard about a skills shortage, especially from young Black women within the ICT space. But we've just proven with our hackathon, which we just held about 2 weeks ago, where we had over 300, in fact, girls that are currently in the IT space studying, and they were competing, basically building solutions on the theme that technology as an enabler to solve for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And from that, 4 of the girls, which won the hackathon, basically thought sometimes innovation is not about coming up with something new. It's about using what's already there to enhance. And so their topic was, the goal that they chose was quality education, where basically they thought everybody already has a smartphone. Almost everybody has WhatsApp. So how about we create a chatbot that basically links children to all these resources that are available. And through WhatsApp, you are able to write questions like maths equations, and the chatbot will basically go to the internet, go to YouTube tutorials, and come back and give you the relevant solution and how that solution came about. So I think we need to start applying ourselves more in terms of how we see ICT and how it can start helping create a real-world change. And as GirlCode, we are very proud that for the past 5 years, we've been championing the girl child and making sure that girls are given as much opportunities as boys. So, thank you.